Hello, everyone out there in the podcast world. This is the Harboring Light, where I give a conservative take about the world around me. So, feedback, questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, feel free to reach out to me through email, Substack, X, and of course, fill up the comments on YouTube. I post on YouTube, and it'll be greatly appreciated. And also, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube there. And I post on Sundays. Exclusive content, and then I also post for free on Substack. You interested? Listen to me both ways, and you want to give your support and get even more exclusive content, be a supporter. All right, so some of my audio platforms that I'm on are Spreaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, just to name a few. Now, this episode is all about the song Waiting for a Star to Fall. So this song is the start of me I'm going to break it up to where until the 14th, talk about exclusively Valentine theme topics. And then to close out the rest of the February, I'll just move on to other topics that are not Valentine related. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is the AI generated response that I found when I pulled up facts about this song. And of course, I'm going to extend out and talk about it from both ends, from the artist's perspective about the song, and then go into the meaning about the song along with my thoughts. All right, so here we go. Waiting for a Star to Fall is a song by the American pop music duo Boy Meets Girl, which was released in 1988. So the song was inspired by a falling star that Shannon Rubicam observed during a Whitney Houston concert at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. That's cute. Can I picture that to be a plot for a romantic comedy, especially during that time in the late 80s and so forth. Okay, so Shannon and George Merle, members of Boy Meets Girl, initially offered the song to Whitney Houston, but were rejected by Arista Records CEO Clive Davis. It was also recorded by Belinda Carlisle for her album Heaven on Earth, but she refused to include it on the album. And that's quite interesting. And that was going on a lot, especially what I mean by this. So when all was growing up, and then shows like Behind Music popping up in the early 2000s or so, and other shows, they go in the inside point of view about the music industry. It's quite interesting about as far as the persona for different songs that get passed along. One artist or rejected is not their forte, or they don't think that it goes along again with their persona, and it goes on down the line to making or breaking, careers. And it's quite interesting, if I'm not mistaken. So, a really good example, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is what happened. So, up and coming artists like for the soundtrack, Don't You Forget About Me. and From Simple Minds. That song, it was passed along by other artists, and they picked it up. You know, they were a Belfast, Ireland band here, and they're at Belfast, I think, but Ireland band, nevertheless. And, you know, they were up and coming, and that song just skyrocketed their career. And, you know, it's quite interesting how that happens. All right, so inspiration. The title and lyrics of the song were inspired by a shooting star, as I was saying. But this concert by Whitney Houston was in 86. So recording, Shannon Rubicam and George Merrill recorded the song themselves after it was rejected by Houston and Carlisle. So the release. The song was released in June of 88 as the second single for Boy Meets Girl and second studio album, Real Life. So the performance chart. So how did it do? It became a chart hit, reaching number 5 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 1 in Canada, and number 5 in Ireland, and number 9 in the United Kingdom. Lyrics. The lyrics describes a yearning for a romantic connection and the hope of a miracle, which with phrases like waiting for a star to fall and trying to catch your heart is like trying to catch a star. So on to remixes and covers. The song has been remixed and covered by various artists, including Cabin Crew and Sunset Strippers, who achieved success with their versions in 2005. So influences. The upbeat tempo and catchy synth pop elements were influenced by Ronald D. 50 and synthesizers. That's what I was going to emphasize. These are the brand names of the different type of synthesizers, you know, that was really popular, specifically in the 80s. And the Yamaha DX7 synthesizers used in the recording. So the video. So the music video features the duo as a couple with their daughter Hillary and her preschool friends making an appearance. This is so cute. So the legacy of this song. The song remains a significant part of Boy Meets Girl's discovery and is considered a pop classic, with its melody and emotional impact resonating with listeners worldwide. Going out, and then I'm going to extend my thoughts here. So it's something about the music of the 80s, particularly when it goes into the aspects of talking about romance and so forth and relationships. It was the decade to go into depth about the different ranges of being either vulnerable with love or being heartbroken and then being happy in love. It was like a mixture of so many things and so many elements. And I think that's why it's so prevalent today, and it's even more popular now. It's never music that's just never going away because it resonates with a lot of people, and it's, really honest to the aspects of everything that goes into building a relationship or breaking apart. With all that said, I'm going to move on and extend my thoughts and then get into more facts about the artist of the song and everything, and then the meaning and depth of the song too. All right, here we go. All right, so my extension to my thoughts that I was saying about songs, particularly songs from the 80s, and the vulnerability. Yes, So, yes, of course, songs that were before then from the 70s, 60s, and so forth, they touched on the subject matter. But it seems like, or from my point of view, that something about in the 80s particularly, they did they went full throttle and did a different range of styles when it comes to love songs. So, for instance, they started doing, Ray Parker Jr., something like, a song like, and a woman needs love just like you do. Songs like that. And the Baby Come to Me that I talked about last year and so forth. Songs like this. And then Bobby Womack and then Luther Vandross. And then also with the amplification of female empowerment, like Tina Turner really made a name for herself with that and everything. And Eurythmics with the dreamscape, super surrealism they were doing with their music videos, and then again with songs like "Here Comes the Rain Again," and then encompassing all the aspects and ranges from talking about, in a relationship, given from the point of view that a woman, from her point of view, she, I guess that was the thing, that subject to talk about, where she needs love and compassion and empathy in the relationship and everything else as much as the man does and so forth. I'm not quite sure about that song, but talking about subjects about that's from my point of view of what I think it's about. But I'm gonna further research into that and talk about that on next year. And then Eurythmics, when they're talking about the isolation, the loneliness that can happen when you miss someone or love lost, things like that. And then again, as I was saying about, it was really a big ticket item with female empowerment. And so you get different songs about the aspects of falling out of love, figuring out love. And, as I mentioned about Tina Turner, but also with Patti Smith, artists like her, with her song when she was in Scandal, and then when she went out on her own, but Goodbye to You, songs like that, and then The Warrior, songs like that. It's about, again, falling in love and then turning out of love and realizing the repercussions for making a bad mistake with Goodbye to You. And then Warrior, realizing where you stand, what you want in love, and then going through the ups and tribulations, and I guess the battle of going through it, and then coming out of it, and then staying in your reign, and asserting yourself, sort of, and then getting through the tribulations with that. And that's quite different as the perspective about the aspects of love and relationships. And then when she teamed up did a duet with, oh gosh, I don't know why it's failing me, but he was the lead man from the Eagles. Anyway, when they did a song together, they're talking about the aspects of love, but realizing that it's just not right, and the aftermath of growing apart and then moving on and so forth. Things like Don Healy. There we go. When they did that duo. And then, of course, with Chicago, oh my God, all the many ranges, they just own the 80s. You might say they own the 70s, they own the 60s, and they own the 80s, onto the 90s. And so the things that they talked about, the different elements of the vulnerability of realizing your stand and your capability and the impact love has. For instance, Hard Habit to Break is a really good example. So it talks about the impact that it has being selfish in a relationship and not realizing your selfish aspects of what you contribute to the relationship. And because of that, you had no longer have the one that you realize you truly love. And then, the cliches, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And then, going through the elements of that. And then going through chivalry, talking about the importance of being that noble and being that knight for your lady and being protector and all of this. And then going through the aspects of being ashamed of losing someone you thought it would work out, and you thought that it was a mutual breakup, and then you realize I still don't know. They get to me when I see them, and you got to turn around and not look at me. And then also about I know I'm a man, but I can be vulnerable at the same time. And then I need you, and I'm here, and I'm standing here telling you, hey, you complete me. And I wouldn't be the man that I know I can be, that I want to be without you. And that is a very nice touch to have these sort of songs, and especially in the mainstream pop atmosphere, because again, it's surfacing back into the values about the society or cultural values of what people place in their aspects of love. And that goes a lot. That's a lot to be said about that. So, that touches on, how people move and think and progress in the aspects of culture too. Some people think, that's just the aspects of love and relationships and everything else. That's just like it's not the be all end all of everything. It's just a means to an end. Some people think it's just a means to an end and so forth. Hey, that might be, but you got to think and realize, when you do have healthy relationships, when you do have the emphasis of how important it is to have family, friends, and so forth in your life, and that instills a society that's more tight-knit, to where, when things do happen with the aspects of global changes and so forth, the aspects of economic changes and so forth, people tend to thrive better a lot better when they have the aspects of understanding the importance of building relationships and so forth, of maintaining healthy and good relationships and so forth, instead of, just being in the stagnant reality of everything is centered around me, or, our tribe with love and it's nothing new, or so forth. And that's something I think to consider. And I think that adds a different element to the aspects of love and song. All right, so I'm going to get into more facts, and then wrap everything up with those facts. All right, here we go. All right, so these sources will be provided for you in this episode. So I'm starting out and reading from Song Facts. So this song charted 9 in the UK and 5 in the US, and of course it was released, as I said, in 1988, and it was a part of Real Life. That was the name of the album. So here we go. It says they Songfacts interviewed them, and this is what they're saying about their point of view about the song. So, we met at a large Seattle. Shannon is talking about this. George Merrill and Shannon Rubicam, and they're talking. So, starting out with Shannon, she's saying, we met at a large Seattle socialite wedding for one of the Boeing daughters of Boeing airplanes. Then we met again later when I went to see George and his singing partner at the time at a club. And she thought, wow, they're really good and cute at the same time. So it says, George says, I had been pretty smitten by Shannon when I first saw her at the wedding. It was Susan Bowen of Boeing Companies, and all of the Seattle musicians at the time were hired to perform some functions at the wedding, either performing at the wedding or after the party or something. And I was singing in the choir in the loft, and Shannon was singing the solo. So her voice was going out through the entire church, and I thought, oh my goodness, where did that voice come from? Yeah, and it's quite interesting, all these different aspects of how musicians meet each other. You know, that adds to the mystique of their music there. So it says, George and Shannon wrote Whitney Houston's hit, How Will I Know, and I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me. They got the idea for the song, as I was saying, when they went to Whitney Houston's concert in the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. So it says they got married. George and Shannon got married after Real Life was released, and that's so sweet. But they were going through a great deal of turmoil in the relationship while they were writing the album. So Shannon says things were difficult to talk through sometimes, and we ended up keeping our musical diary going, and that really was our unifying factor. So a lot of the songs are reflective of that, even if they sound initially upbeat musically. I think really it was a tough time for us, and she's saying thank God for music. So George says, yeah, and there was a level at which I think Shannon and I had a mutual admiration for each other in the process of writing together. And also, it's a relationship thing where if Shannon needed to get something out musically, I wanted to assist her. And I think it was both ways. If we had a song that was kind of a sensitive topic, there was a level that the two of us would just write our way through it. And that's quite interesting, too, when you get in the aspects where you have musicians who happen to be couples and how the dynamic in the songs play out each other. So, really good examples of that is Fleetwood Mac and No Doubt. So with Fleetwood Mac, there's a lot of wild theories that goes out about that. So the tumultuous relationship between Stevie Nicks and I'm trying to think about his name, but but them two, and then the other relationships that was in the band, and that you can see all those things playing out with each other, and then they're going on interviews and talking about Stevie Nicks too. Even more so talking about being very vocal about, in the start of the relationship, Landslide was all about how the uproot of when they were first getting the band going, and then staying behind and wanting to go out on the road and getting everything together, and then all these things break up and fighting and trying to mend things, and then trying to build your band together, stick together. And some people have theories that bands are really all about relationships and emotion and interpersonal relationship, and that's what makes the band or whatever. And I digress with that. But also with No Doubt here, with Gwen Stefani and all of that, when, it was this it's sort of like a bad romance comedy, romantic comedy, or whatever. When all that stuff was playing out in itself, and the music, you have Don't Speak, and you have all these other songs that talk about their relationship and the breakup and so forth. All right, so let me go to the end of it. So George and Shannon were married throughout the 90s and broke up around 2004. They have a daughter and together and continue their musical partnership. In 2003, they released the Wonderground, an album dealing with the complexities and emotions of their relationship. So thanks to George and Shannon, they said, okay, all right, I'm sorry for reading that, but they're giving the appreciation for them interviewing, because that was quite nice of them. Even, some people say, oh, it wasn't nice, they were paid to do it. But, even more so, it's nice to them to take the time and give that perspective and everything about the elements of the song and the elements of their band and so forth. All right, so I'm going to wrap up talking about here. I'm going to talk about the meaning of the song. And here we go. I think it's right here. All right, so here we go. So in the realm of the classic 80s pop anthems, there lies a track of starry-eyed wonder that not only captures the essence of romantic yearning, but it also gives listeners a celestial metaphor waiting for a star to fall by Boy Meets Girl. So it's a staple of the late 80s of the pop landscape. It was right before the dawning of Paula Abdul and everything, and then you had George Michael and Wham, and you had Whitney Houston, and you had like I was saying about Luther Vandross, and then you had all these different artists, and then of course, Madonna, but she was more sexualized with her aspects about things. Stuff was quite interesting when she was married to these actors, getting them straight. When she was married to I'm trying to think about his name. I picture his face. I see his face, but I can't think of his name. But anyway, when she was married to him, the famous actor there, Deborah Cherish, and he's the Spumoni or something from Ridgemont High. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, she had a very conventional, I guess, semi-conservative song with Cherish, the aspects of their love and so forth, and that's quite interesting. So, the song lyrics weave a poignant narrative of longing, hoping, and painting, and a tapestry that resonates with anyone who ever wished on a falling star for that one true love to enter their life. So, at first glance, the title "Waiting for a Star to Fall" conjures images of a whimsical fairy tale love. The idea of a falling star is often tied to wishes and destiny, suggesting that the perfect love is fated and arrives from the heavens. And when I first heard this song, it really captures your attention. And then when I saw the music video too, it's very sentimental. It's like I would equate it like a great big hallmark card of a warm, comfy feeling that you get by seeing all the sweet, innocent images, and then it's just really, really cute. And so, again, it goes with the tapestry of what was going on in the aspects of the age about love and relationships and so forth. So, at first glance, like I was saying, so suggesting that the perfect love is fated and arrives from the heavens, yet there is an innate tension within the song's storyline. The stars are literally and metaphorically out of one's grasp, leading to an unyielding chase. So the act of waiting reflects a passive taste where the protagonist is left to the whims of the universe, perhaps indicating a belief that love is not something one can actively pursue, but rather a serendipitous gift that one must merely be present to receive. It presents a heart-wrenching paradox of control versus surrender in the pursuit of love, echoing the timeless dance between human agency and destiny. So, the song Striking a Course, Waiting for a Star to Fall, and Carry Your Heart into Your Arms serves as an emotional nucleus to the track. It binds the listener to the central theme and of waiting for an extraordinary love that is destined but not guaranteed. And that's quite true, the aspect. Nothing in this life is promised. And so, it conjures up the question again about free will and fate versus how does that play, how do those cards play a part in your aspects of love and relationships. All right, so the chorus becomes a haunting reminder of the space between yearning and receiving. So the lyrical antithesis with "That's Where You Belong in My Arms, Baby, Yeah," displays a stark confidence intertwined with the uncertainty of the wait. So this confessional certainty is juxtaposed with the vagueness of the anticipated moment, which creates a musical tension that resonates with anyone who's ever been sure of love that remains just out of reach. So the hidden meaning when hope clashes with reality. So these introspective lyrics that says, I've learned to feel what I cannot see, but with you, I lost that vision, exposes the underlying theme of blind faith in the unseen. If according to the source is what they're saying, it says a key question arises: when does hopeful waiting cross into the territory of delusion? So the song definitely explores the intersection where romantic realism meets the poignant reality of unrequited love. All right, so now I'm going to say this. So it's quite interesting, specifically when you get into the aspects of analysis of, artistic work, whether it be painting, whether it be literature, and then in this case, music. So, of course, you have to take these things with a grain of salt. There, of course, theories, but some people take it to heart and say, oh, yeah, this, that, and the other. But, it's one of those things, you get beside yourself and you say, oh, well, the true source, or, talk to the source that created it, what is their point of view, and they can either deny or confirm or up the ante of the theories there. Adds again to the mystique about the song and about the work and peace and so forth. And that's quite interesting. Another interesting layer to the aspects of music and interpretation here. All right, so the song's legacy and the tapestry of pop culture. So having outlasted the initial burst of the 80s, Euphoria, waiting for a star to fall, remains an intricate piece of pop music history. It's a song that continues to resonate with generations, from those who spun the vinyl upon its original release to digital narrative streaming the classic hit through modern devices. The song's legacy and its ability to tap into an element desire encapsulates in a synth-laden soundtrack of the era. So as new artists sample its rhythms and covers, they reinterpret its message. The song's essence is reinvigorated and it finds relevance in contemporary love stories. So the longing, which encapsulates in its lyrics, has become a touchstone for those who wonder about the love that's written amongst the stars. So this in itself is a timeless question wrapped in a melody that refuses to fade into obscurity. So this closes out everything. So what do you all think about the aspects of love and music? The love songs and so forth. Reach out to me and I'll have all those links provided for you. All right, so this is the end of the Hovering Line. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. Bye-bye for now.